everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Handmade by Ying with Donna. Today is January the 19th, 2023, and today I'm working on my Sweet Childhood Memories by Pat Sloan. As you can see from behind me, I've already got block 1 done. Block 2 is over here, and this is block 3 of her series for this quilt. It's coming together really nice, and this block I've already completed. And look how nice this looks. It comes together really fabulous. It's a good sew. There's the sew and flip method, and you can make it with any color duration that you would like. But for mine, I've chose these because it's the fabric line that matches block 1 and 2 that I've pulled from my stash. And some of it's scrappy, and I'm kind of liking the way that it's coming together. Her pattern you can find on her website, patsloan.com. So make sure that you slip over there and pull that. It's also going to be in the description box below. So I've got this done, and I can put it up that way. But Pat's also included a larger block, and I think I'm going to do it as the bonus. And it's going to be really cute when it's completed. So I did some of the little bits of behind the scenes to make 3 of the blocks that I have just shown you. And now I'm going to come in and show you how to make that block, how it's going to come together, how you're going to do the sew and flip method, and then you're going to add in that little corner piece. So let's get sewing. So in this block, what you're going to need to do is draw your line diagonally, and you're going to sew down one side, come up the other. I highly recommend, even if you have seam guide tape, that you go ahead and mark this block, and you're going to want to pin so that nothing shifts for you. This pattern that she has wrote this time, it's just darling, and it's coming together really cute, and I can't wait to show you it totally completed. So I went down one side and I'm coming back up the other. There is a lot of trimming here, and it's just making sure that everything is squared up nice the way that you want it to be. And I press my seams open when I'm doing these blocks because it lays so much flatter. So now all you do is cut on your line, just like you would any other time that you're sewing your HSTs. And I am going to lay my pattern down. And right here, I heat my seam up, and all that's doing is making sure that it lays flat for me. And you're going to press to the dark. Here I finger press just a tiny little bit. And I do use my acorn pen on this because I want it to lay really flat, and it comes in really handy. And I do this on both. Finger press it to the dark and come down that seam. I want to make sure that I'm really getting it because I want it to lay really flat for me. The acorn pins are amazing. They make sure that everything that you're doing lines up and it lays really super flat for you. So let me get this to where it's flat enough for me. Now I'm going to bring it over and I'm going to square it up. So I know my measurements, and I'm not going to give you those. And I'm just going to line it up. If you want the pattern, like I said, you just go over to her website and it is there. But I am not at liberty to give her measurements. So I'm just lining her up. And it's really important every step of the way in this project that you do square up. And as you can see, there's not very much waste, but it's just enough it would mess your block up. And I'm making sure that I keep my line right here. And I prefer to use the Quilter Select. It doesn't slip on me, and everything stays really square when I'm doing this. And line up one more time. So now I've got this ready to do the sew and flip method. Here you're going to have to watch how you, excuse me, I got a little bit of a tickle. On your blocks, this would be my white, is what it would be classified. So I'm going to put these little blocks, per se, here in the corners. And that's going to give me the extra little pizzazz, per se, in the block. These are small enough that I'm just going to slide them straight under the needle and sew them in. And I'll hold it really tight so that it does not slip. And I'll do the same over here and make sure that I've got it in. And you just sew your line, snip your thread, and I have a little extra there. So right here, you're just going to want to fold it back and finger press it to make sure that it lines up right where you want it. And do the same with your first one. And look how pretty these colors come together. I just really like the way that this block is coming. So here, I'm going to go ahead and do the acorn again. And I'm going to do it on this one. And now I'm going to flat it. And that laid flats. And that's flat. So now I'm going to pop it open, and you're going to go your 1/4 of an inch right here. And then you're going to flat it again. Once again, your 1/4 of an inch. And I'll lay these little tidbits over here. And we're just going to go ahead and make these just as flat as possible. Then we're going to square these down one last time because everything does get askew just a little bit. Make sure I'm lined up. And trim in. And like I said, there's just very little. And I could use my other mat, but I've got my table set up to go ahead and trim right here. So that one's square. We're going to do the second one. And one final trim, and make sure that on your line you are corner to corner. And that's going to give you the truest square that you can possibly have here. I'll push my scraps over out of the way. Now I'm going to lay this block out the way that it needs to be. And it's really important that you watch your layouts. So this one is going to lay out right here like that. I've already got where I added the secondary 2.5 inch, and that is going to face here. Then I'm going to come this way, and then this one is going to go over in the upper corner, and that's going to give you the spinning that she's wanting you to have in this block. And I think it's going to look really cute when it comes together. So just finger pinch it, or you can clip. Here, I want to just go ahead and add a little pin because I want to make sure that it does not move on me. And then I'll fold this one over and do the same thing. Make sure my corners are lined up and pin. And then we're going to just sew them in. I do a lot of blocks in a week, and I'm telling you, this is one of the funner ones that I've experienced. I love to see the way that the block's laying out, and it's just a fun sew. Now our pattern doesn't tell you whether to press your seams open or closed. I prefer at this stage, so I don't have any bulk, you could press to the heavier side, but there's a lot of bulk right here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do my seam open. And it's just, I'm finding it works better for me. So I'll give it a little bit of heat love, then back to my acorn pen, because I want it to lay really flat as I'm getting this block together. And while that's getting a little warm, I'm going to do the same thing right here. And it's so flat. I love this acorn pen. And just press that seam open with your fingers. Give it a little bit of heat love. And back to the acorn pen. And then here I'm just gonna get it good and warm, press it in, and look how flat that lays. I love it when a block lays really flat for me. So now we're at the part where we're gonna join it here, and as you can see I've got them flipped wrong, so just flip it around. You want to always check before you lay it out. Then you're just going to flip it over, and you're going to make sure that you pin here at this junction. And there's no bulk there now because it's pressed open. Now I'm going to check, and I love the way that this is coming together, and I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to go ahead and press this seam open as well, and just press it down with my fingers, and then I'll bring it over to the iron and press it flat as well. Back to the acorn pen again. Some people call it magic juice. It's an acorn pen. You can get it from Amazon. And some quilt shops, I believe, do have it as well. Now we're going to square this block down because, as you can see, it does get askew just a tiny tad. So I'm going to line it up. Make sure I've got it exactly where I want it to be. And I'm corner to corner, right there. And I'm going to square it. Now I'm going to flip the block and repeat. Push all of my little tiny scraps aside. Now, per the pattern, you have to pay special attention to how you're going to lay this out so that you're getting all four, and you want to make sure that when you get to the center, you don't want all that bulk. So I'm going to lay it out the way that the pattern's directing me to. And it's really cute because you just have to pay attention to the directions that it's going to be laying. Now the block's totally laid out the way that I need it to be. So I'm just going to flip it over first this way to make sure that I have everything lined up, and I don't want anything to get all messed up. So I'm going to pin here at the junctions, and that's going to be kind of like a two-fold to make sure you know exactly where you want this to go in. And that seam is now going to be set, and then I'm going to do this one. The same method. Find your seam, line it up, and give it a little pin. Some people sew with a scant 1/4 inch. I'm doing a true 1/4 of an inch on mine per the directions. Make sure that you pull your pins. You don't want to be running over them. And snip. For this, I'm also going to open my seams because I don't like the bulk. So you can choose to do it however you would like. Just a quick little press can save you a lot of fussing later. And just press it flat. And do the same on this one. I use my nail to pull it open and finger press it. That way I'm going straight down the seam and I'm keeping it flat. Back to the acorn pin, straight down the seam. Double check to make sure you haven't got your blocks flipped. And it's coming together really nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it up. And you're going to have 3 places here that you do need to pin. You're going to pin in the center first. Then you're going to want to go to the next block and pin it there. And then you're going to pin here as well. And by pinning, you're going to make sure that everything lines up, and this is going to come together really. You're going to see that spin in the center. It looks like a little windmill. Make sure all of it is lined up, and then you're going to press this open one more time. And look how nice it looks on the back. It's laying really flat, and that's just what you're looking for when you're doing this. And it looks so pretty with all of your seams, all the junctions, everywhere is lined up, and it's looking fabulous. So now that we have the center done and it's all looking fabulous, you're going to want to come down your sides and make sure everything looks straight. I've got a wee little tiny bit here, but that's not even enough for me to worry about trimming in. She gives the measurements on where you should trim this up. This block's going to finish at 24.5, but there's another step that we need to do. So let me set this aside. And now we're going to make the next section that's going to give you the star effect. What you're going to do is come straight across, make your line, And that's your marking line, and you're going to sew down one side and up the next. It's really important that you follow all of her directions, and it gives you an amazing result. And just flip it. Like I said, I'm not doing the scant 1/4 inch. Her directions say 1/4 of an inch. My ruler. And now, since I have a longer piece, I'm not going to cut it with my scissors. I'm going to go ahead and use my rotary cutter. Straight down. Now you're going to press these to the dark. Or you can press them open. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to press it to the dark and finger press it down. Acorn pin straight down the seam. And just hold it and run it down. Slip back over. And give it that heat. Now we've got these made, so the only thing I have to do right now is square these down. So I'm going to line it up to my measurements that I need, making sure that, like I said, for the center, you want to make sure you're right on that line. And as you can see, there is very little waste with this pattern at all. So I've got both those done. Get my little bit of waste out of the way. So now we're going to look at the pattern and see what the next step is. We're going to take these. This is going to give you your star legs. And you're going to pin it and line it up. Dead center. And you can clip here or you can pin. I'm going to clip because I'm going to move this out of the way for just a tiny second so that I can go ahead and get these lined up as well. What you're doing is making sure that you have these lined up and flip these in. And we will flat iron these as well. Now here you're going to open this seam. So let me slide this over. And as you can see, this will come together really fast for you. I did not do any of the cutting on camera because it's not my pattern, even though it's a free one. Kendall, one of the gentlemen that she has working for her, has already released a video with everything that you'll need. And if you pay special attention when you're lining things up, you can see this lined up perfectly. So now I'm going to line it up over here as well and just flip it. And go ahead and pin it. You're going to want this junction to meet right there. And make sure that you do pin it. If you follow her directions, everything will come out each and every time. Pat does fabulous. I can't say it enough. So you're just going to wiggle it in. And then now we're going to spin it over. Make sure your corners are pinched and line it up again. Now we're going to press it open and see how nice that lines up right there. You're straight at your seams. Let me check this one before I ever press it. I want to make sure everything lines up just where I need it. So I'm going to press this one open as well. There's a lot of opening for me on my end. I just like the way it's going to lay flat, and then when I long arm it after it's all together, I won't have a lot of fussing and a lot of heaviness or bulk. So now I've got it pressed and everything's lining up straight across the junctions on everything. If you press flat, everything is going to be really flat. I like the way that these are showing in each and every one. The next step is we've got our end pieces on for our starburst. And I went ahead off camera and made the next section to streamline this video for you. So you want to make sure that it's going to be lined up, and you're just going to fold it over and you're going to pin again. And you're going to want to hit those two junctions to make sure that you are lined up. And I can't stress that enough. Everything is coming together really nice. And now's not the time to mess it up on this last two seams that we've got to put in. Then you can come to the center here. I always do my ends and then my center. I'm not going to pin this one. I'm just going to clip it because it's not moving. It's secure. Then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the same thing. But before I ever sew, I'm going to fold that back just a little bit to make sure that I've got my star points facing out. So now I'm going to lay this one in. My star points are out, and I'm going to lay it belly down. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to start on my ends and line those up. And make sure that you are definitely lined up. There's no nestling of seams because we've got them pressed open. And you're just going to line up your line. Then you're going to come back into the center and line up there. You can either pin or clip. I'm going to go ahead and clip here as well. And my ends I'm not going to worry about because everything's lining up. So you're just going to pull over your side, lay it as flat as you can, and then you're going to sew up one side and down the other. And then this block, other than pressing, will be finished. And stay true to your 1/4 inch. And if you don't want to lose your point here, make sure that you have that marked as well, or you can eyeball it. And that's going to give you that sharp tip that you want. Bring this over and make sure that you're lined up there, and just sew this one in as well. And now we're going to do it down the other side, and this block will be complete. in the comments below, you're going to have to let me know what you thought of this vlog. It's been fun to do this one. Remember, your tip is here and you don't want to lose your point. So take it easy as you're doing it to make sure that you've got it marked. Make sure that you're lined up on your corner here. And it's all locked in. Let's see how she looks. Now, is that not a gorgeous block? I could not be more pleased at how pretty this one has turned out. So, like I said, in the comments below, let me know what you're thinking. All of my corners are lined up perfectly. Anytime I'm finding that I'm doing one of Pat's projects, following the pattern, and I'm marking everything exactly the way that she has asked, it's coming together gorgeous. I can't wait to see the end result of this project. It's fast, it's fun, it brings you back to your childhood just a little bit with all of the books that we've read throughout the years. So with that being said, I'll see you back next week with the next block that she releases. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you then.